I believe my death to be the greatest gift of my life. Anyone who heard me shouting at the top of my lungs in complete, unfettered panic in the emergency hospital would never have guessed that 24 hours later, I would be flooded with the wonder and calm of the hereafter. On my way to run the Austin 10K, I was involved in head-on collision. I shattered my back multiple times and suffered internal problems. I didn't have health insurance at the time, therefore I had to wait 17 hours for a surgeon to do surgery on me. I didn't have any medications or anything to relieve the discomfort. I burst out of my body during surgery and had a full NDE experience. No one, probably not even the most ardent atheist, could have been more astonished than me at the start of my near-death experience. My initial seconds outside my body were thrilling and energizing. My spirit did a little jig when I realized there's more to life than the physical. I felt like a kid again, excited to see what happened next and relieved that my spirit body had kept the essence of who I am. Despite the fact that I was concerned about the physical body on the table, the radio was playing soothing music and my back had a large bleeding incision. Surgery appeared more gruesome and gory than I had anticipated, particularly from a 360-degree viewpoint. I could see the doctors as well as the entire room without blinking or relying on my eyes. I felt immense excitement and disbelief as I discovered all did not die with the corpse in the room, with the doctors, nurses, surgical technicians, anesthesiologists, and others. After a brief moment of joy, I spotted two of the most intelligent beings I'd ever seen. They were enormous, standing around 8 or 9 feet tall, androgynous with long shoulder-length hair and made up of light rather than the solid form. I just call them angels because I don't know what else to call them. These angels were a part of an additional reality, not a dream. I've had countless dreams, but this one felt more real than any waking moment in my life. People are constantly curious what angels look like. Did they have wings? They inquire. Were they clothed? How many were there? How did you figure out they were angels? I'm not sure if these two entities were angels in the conventional biblical sense. I only know that I recognized them as extremely intelligent beings whose presence brought me incomparable peace. My perception of this new reality appeared to be considerably more limited than theirs. Most of what I realized outside of my body in the operating room came from initial perceptions, similar to how a toddler determines whether or not an adult is trustworthy. I didn't challenge the angels' authority because they were trustworthy and there to help and soothe me. They delivered light waves that conveyed messages to me in the form of full ideas and feelings, rather than individual words. The light transmitted into my spirit body by the angel's eyes allowed me to access information faster than the fastest feasible broadband speed in megabytes or even terabytes. The angels could not only communicate with my spirit body, but they could also communicate with and via the two neurosurgeons. More likely, the surgeons were unaware of this connection. My awareness, understanding of the world, and capacity for joy were all expanding at an exponential rate. The angels slowed down their conversation just as the monitor began to bleep, indicating that my heart had stopped. "Watch this," they yelled, loudly and forcefully as they gazed at me. They sent the same light that they shined into my spirit body through the backs of the doctor's hands and into my corporeal body. My physical body was instantly transformed and healed in ways that doctors could not have done. I knew I'd be able to walk again, that the bone shards in my spine would be removed, and that I'd be able to run again at some point in the future. The angels returned their attention to me, allowing this moment to settle in. While the angels worked on my body, I thought about how the surgeons were conduits for their energy and how the angels' energy was an important component of my healing. Perhaps the surgeons' egos would be offended, or perhaps they would be relieved to know that angels were working through them. I just knew I had to recall this event clearly. The angels wanted me to know that they might be able to work through me in the future. My physical body shimmered with light and energy as the angels proceeded to operate on me. After a few moments, the gadget indicated that my heart had stopped beating. I didn't want to look at my physical body because it was officially dead, so I sped through the hospital's walls. I just hesitated because I noticed my stepdad grabbing a candy bar from a vending machine. He took a stroll around the hospital before returning to the waiting area with a Snickers candy bar. When I met my stepfather, I felt a sense of belonging to everyone I'd ever known. I spent a few moments as a child with my grandfather, Clyde, after feeling a sense of oneness and understanding with others I knew. He was the only person I knew who had died. My grandfather, a poor rural man, had done his best to spoil me. I climbed into the back of his blue Chevy truck, and he gently drove us to the light. My feet dragged the ground through colorful clover and grass that was greener, more vivid and light-filled than any grass I'd ever seen. Grandpa appeared younger and healthier than I remembered him, and he leaned out the window to ask whether I wanted to continue. "Yes," I said, nodding. The truck accelerated away from the curb and toward the light. I was no longer in the truck, and my grandfather was no longer beside me. I was on the verge of falling in love. I'm at a loss for words. I've tried so many times to write about this incident, but I always break down and can't find the words. I'm missing your affection. I'm missing the brightness. A significant part of me never wanted to leave that secure haven. I felt no tension and more love than I could have dreamed imaginable in that environment. I felt joy and contentment than even the greatest moments in my life had ever given me, and I didn't want to go back to my body. If a soul could smile, my soul did. I was relaxed and unconcerned. The encounter gave me complete and utter trust. I sensed the prayers of my mother, father, grandmothers, and a handful of aunts as I moved deeper into the light. I was particularly moved by the prayer of a great aunt who had lost a daughter in a vehicle accident. I distinctly heard her plead and beg God to spare my mother the grief she endured when her daughter died. This moved me, and her heartfelt prayer almost made me want to return. One of the most significant truths I learned from the light is that love is all that matters. Though it appeared to be a hippie slogan or a Beatles parody, the message struck a deeper chord with me. Every interaction is pointless unless it is accompanied with love in some way. Without love, the prayer is pointless. Without love, a sermon is pointless. Without love, religion is useless. The prayers of those who loved me slowed my movement toward the light like wind. Though their affection felt beautiful and reminded me of my life on earth, their prayers did not dampen my desire to continue my journey into the light. I've always been an adventurer, and this was the best adventure I'd ever had. When I returned to my body, I felt as if I'd been swallowed by a dark wind. I was still one with everything. If I had to summarize, the fundamental lesson of my NDE is that God, or light, is a loving force who does not want people to harm others and desires that we experience joy and happiness in our lives. The finest gifts we can give to others are love and kindness. We are all a part of that light, but fear causes us to forget how to live. We have forgotten how to move through this world as the light. As children, we're all closer to God because love comes more easily to us. We can be happy with our pets, a bird in the sky, staring into our parents' eyes. We have fallen in love with the world, and the world has fallen in love with us. As children, we breathed better and experienced more protracted, intense moments.